Hello to all of you viewers of The Pioneer. We continue to bring you all the hot developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. As you know, the war continues. While the developments regarding the war process remain important on the agenda, the offensive efforts of the parties are still continuing. In recent days, when mutual attacks have increased, the parties are struggling to gain gains. The planned attacks of the Ukrainian army are giving the Russian army a hard time. The Russian army, on the other hand, is organizing attacks on Ukrainian positions. The Ukrainian army is taking a cautious approach against the Russian attacks. The attacks for the Russian army targeting civilians and infrastructure are successfully prevented by the Ukrainian army. Ukraine's air defense has recently strengthened its power. It is expected to become even stronger with the supply of support packages announced by European countries. While strengthening its defense, Ukraine is also trying to increase its attack potential. Recent initiatives and the initiatives of Kyiv authorities aim to increase Ukraine's firepower. In addition, the ongoing plans to strengthen the air force will start to take effect. The fighter jets expected to be supplied to the Ukrainian army's air force are expected to make a major contribution to Ukraine's air power. While the Ukrainian defense continued its successful interventions, an incredible attack took place the other day. A drone swarm consisting of 38 unmanned aerial vehicles launched an attack on Ukraine by the Russian army. Thanks to the vigilance of the Ukrainian defense troops, the Russian attack was largely thwarted. The Russian military lost the majority of the drones involved in the attack. Kyiv officials emphasized that the Ukrainian army is showing a strong appearance on both the defensive and offensive fronts. Kyiv officials are also continuing their diplomatic contacts. They are making efforts to provide Ukraine with the military equipment and weapons it needs. The latest developments have delegated Kyiv. Europe's security concerns and the increasing Russian aggression have mobilized European states. The rhetoric of unity and solidarity against the Russian invasion has been developed all over Europe. Now, if you are ready, let's examine the latest developments together. As the Pioneer team, we strive to convey to you the developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. I also read all the comments you leave on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. And now let's start if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. The Ukrainian Air Force survived a major threat last night. The air attack of the Russian army was successfully thwarted by the Ukrainian defense. The Russian military launched an attack using drones and missiles targeting a large area. The Russian military attack was successfully thwarted thanks to the support of Ukrainian military intelligence. Ukrainian military intelligence started to work after receiving the intelligence about the attack. There is a strong bond between the Ukrainian military and intelligence. Ukrainian military intelligence immediately transmitted critical information to the army. In this way, operations are carried out in a very short time. The Ukrainian army, which applies the same strategy in both defense and attack zones, displays a very successful outlook. The Ukrainian Air Force said in a statement that Ukrainian forces shot down 30 of 38 Russian missiles launched during a large-scale attack on multiple cities during the day. In total, Russian forces launched 1 Kinzhal ballistic missile, 4 Iskander-M ballistic missiles, 1 3M22 Zircon hypersonic cruise missile, 13 Kh-101 cruise missiles, 14 caliber cruise missiles, 2 Kh-22 cruise missiles, and 3 Kh-5969 guided air missiles, according to the statement. Ukrainian defenses reportedly shot down the Kinzhal missile, 3 Iskander, 11 Kh-101, 12 caliber, and 3 Kh-5969. Civilians were killed in explosions in Kyiv, Dnipro, Kryvyi Rih, and other cities in Ukraine. Russia's aggression is also negatively affecting civilian life in Ukraine. Russia's war crimes are being recorded by international authorities. International authorities are closely following the developments in Ukraine. Embargoes and sanctions against Russia are increasing while the legal process continues. Russia's attack comes ahead of a NATO summit in Washington where Ukraine hopes to secure long-term aid commitments from allies. The NATO summit, which will begin in the coming days, is also expected to make important decisions on the ongoing war in Ukraine. The Ukrainian army's success in defense also worries the Russian military. Reports published the other day showed that most of the Russian missiles were destroyed by the Ukrainian army. Making a detailed statement after Russia's latest attack, the commander of the Ukrainian Air Force explained the process. Around 10 a.m., the enemy launched a combined missile attack on Ukraine using air, sea, and land-based missiles, Oleshchik said. According to preliminary data, Russian war machines launched 38 missiles of various types. However, Oleshchik explained that the country's anti-aircraft defenses managed to destroy 30 of these missiles before they hit their intended targets. Ukrainian Air Force Colonel Sergei Yaremek told reporters that every Kinzhal missile launched in Kyiv has been shot down since the country received its first Patriot missile defense system from the United States earlier this year. Following Russia's latest attack, European countries also issued a joint statement against Russia condemning the attack. It was stated that the importance of the issues expected to be raised at the NATO summit has increased. The ambassadors of Germany, Austria, and the United States made statements following Russia's aggression against Ukraine. They condemned the massive morning attacks that killed around 30 people and wounded around 90 ahead of the NATO summit in Washington. Kyiv, Dnipro, Kryvyi Rih, Slovyansk, and Kramatorsk came under attack when around 40 Russian missiles were launched into Ukraine. Among the targets was the Okhmatyt Hospital, Ukraine's largest children's health center. Stating the necessity to fight against Russia's war crimes, the authorities announced that all means would be mobilized. The head of the Ukrainian presidential office, Andriy Yermak, said that by carrying out this mass attack on Ukraine, Russia is trying to scare the world before the NATO summit and reiterate that Moscow is committing genocide against Ukraine. Ukraine's struggle against the Russian occupation is appreciated and supported by the Western world. After the NATO summit, it is expected that the process will evolve in a more decisive and stronger direction. Do you think Ukraine's defense is successful? Do you think Ukraine's defense is doing its job against the Russian invasion? What do you think about the involvement of the Russian army in war crimes? Do you think that the decisions made at the NATO summit will affect the ongoing war in Ukraine? How do you think the strengthening of the Ukrainian army will affect the war process? We care about your opinions, so please share them with us.